What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. I hope you had a wonderful week. Hey, man, is Loki Season 2, is it too confusing? Or is it supposed to be too confusing? And that's what's working out. Skeleton Crew, that Star Wars show, well, there's a new synopsis for it. That's coming out soon. And there's a few other stories going on. What's going on with the SAG strike? Are we at the end, guys? Is this the week that it's going to end? Well, we're going to talk about that and more. And would you let your significant other get destroyed at a swingers party? We're going to talk about all of that and more on today's episode of The Big Thing. It's me and Brett today. So if you're into that kind of stuff, then make sure you just subscribe to the channel. Hit the button, man. 100,000 and get us there. Please. We're at almost 96, but we need your help. So hit that button. All right, let's get into it. It's me. It's Brett. It's Rhinoceros Penis. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody had a good weekend. What did you do this weekend? Did you chill out? Good. Happy to hear it. Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere podcast find. Every time, I actually really do like it, that every time I forget to upload the podcast on Spotify, someone's like, hey, what's going on? It's not on Spotify yet. Hurry up. That means more people are listening on Spotify, so I appreciate that. I just upload everything, Brett. How you doing?
You got to upload it.
Oh,
you
yeah.
got to upload it.
You still feel like you're a little... I don't know. Maybe
I can't do it. Check it out.
Talk to the people.
Guys, I'm going to have to explain what Kristian was talking about to my mom. I'm not going to explain it to you, but she's going to ask me.
Oh, we're going to talk about it. We're definitely going to talk about it.
Oh, good.
Because I just, listen. For people who want to know what the hell I was talking about, I got to bring it up. Okay. So, Brett and I were talking. I actually have more than one friend. Like, this came up in conversation, like, with more than one friend, talking about potential, like, swinger parties. And, like, in no world am I ever doing that.
No.
And both of my friends who brought this up were like, yeah, listen, it comes down to it. I have my wife there, and she's cool with it. I'm cool with it. Then we do it. And I said, I don't think you're thinking this through.
No.
I said, I said, listen, so you're going to be okay if your wife is with another dude, and you think she's going to be okay if you're with another one? No, they both said the same thing. No, she probably wouldn't be okay with that. So, well, first of all, that's the end of it.
Yeah.
It's part one.
End of discussion.
But it's not the one that I think that they're not thinking through. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now. Yes, I know what we led with as far as the title and the thumbnail. So if there are kids that are listening to this show, I would tell you to not listen to this show right now because we're going deep. Because here's, Brady, this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Let's say it's a nice establishment. Everybody's,
They've got snacks.
Yeah, snacks, Doritos, whatever they got. But no, let's say it's really nice. Let's picture a almost like Playboy Mansion in its prime type of environment, and you got the eyes wide shut, masks all over the place, and people are just fucking.
Yeah, it's just it's that kind of scene. I mean, that's what they're for.
That's what they're there for. They're there. You pay the price of admission, and that's what happens. It's not like one of these things like, oh, wait a minute, things happen. So,
hey, somebody's fucking my wife. Right? No, that's
what happens.
We told you at the door.
That's the price of admission. You guys said you bang other people, but people bang your significant others. So I said, well, to both of them, I said this scenario. I said, you're on a nice, comfy chair. You've got a lady on top of you, and then you're over
on the side of your.
And right in front of you.
Right out your peripheral.
I'm not talking peripheral. I'm talking 12 o'clock.
just a little side sneak.
I'm talking 12
You're like,
o'clock.
excuse me for a second.
Is that what I think it is? Yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. It's a rhinoceros penis going in and out of your wife as you're looking over and you're going... You're gonna be okay with that?
You good with that? Is
You're
that
okay with that? Yeah, and both of them said the same thing. Yeah, I'd be fine with it. Bullshit.
Bullshit. And if you are, I guess that's your thing, though. That's that because I was just like, well, if you want to step out, if you want to have like an open relationship, they don't watch the act.
Right.
This is somebody that kind of has that voyeur thing, or what is it? It's even like cuckold, isn't it?
I guess. But I mean, but that's the thing, is that I was like, the first question I asked was, would they be okay with it? And they both said no. So the answer is no. This is not what they're into.
No.
But it's this thing, and I'm just like, wait a minute. So you're just going, how does that pan out? Yeah, I'm okay with it. And then what if this guy is just going to town, right? and you look up, and the woman you're with is just like, and then meanwhile, now you're looking at the performance, and you're going, wait a minute, and then
like
again,
I can't make those noises come out of her. What's going on?
What's the car ride home like?
Yeah.
Oh, honey, we got to.
Do we have milk?
Yeah, we're meeting my parents for brunch tomorrow.
Yeah.
A little something on you. Make sure you clean up.
Why don't you clean up a little bit?
A little bit.
I'm gonna go have a soft cry in the shower.
I didn't realize that maybe this wasn't the best choice.
I'm beginning to think this was a bad idea.
The next night, she's just like, now your wife, who was putting on, is going, calls you Ronnie or something. Client X.
That's Client X. That's got to be the beginning of the end of anybody that goes like, hey, I think, and I'm sure there's people that can handle it.
But that's what I'm saying. If they're not both on board, it's
Yeah.
the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
It's not this thing of like, oh yeah, we'd be able to hang. No, there's a reason why Indecent Proposal was, and that was something very different. But still, no. This romanticized idea of just being able to, it's kinky, and it's like, dude,
that was
guy,
the best.
What if he had a Dennis Rodman penis? And It's just like, just taking. Oh,
that was the best. One of the scene in like, was it the Borat movie where he's like had the sex party and he's just walking on a couple. Like,
I don't know if I saw it. Is it Bruno? Is it Bruno?
I don't know. I thought it was Borat.
Was it? Maybe.
And he's like rubbing the guy's back. And he's like, he did some weird shit. It was funny.
I'm sure it was, but I'm
5 stars.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the conversation. You gotta understand something. These are the conversations Brett and I get into before the conversation rolls.
And it's like, hey, what are the numbers on Loki?
It's like sometimes the conversations we have right before will never make the air. But I don't think he thought I was going to talk about it.
I didn't. I'm like, oh, you're going to restart the opening.
No. Let him start with this on Monday. Now you know what you're into.
Welcome Monday.
I subscribed to you because of the UAP show. I didn't know we were going to talk about banging people's wives.
Hey, if you didn't like heavy metal.
If you didn't like the heavy metal intro. I had some guy got mad at me over the weekend in comments. We started doing a push for the Patreon. And I told people that we started really building up the Patreon again, and we're going to be doing a lot of new things. Once November 1st, I'm actually getting on a call with PLD today about it, where we're going to do a lot of new benefits, and we're making a pull for it. And I think Winston is going to do Halloween Horror Nights, which he's really scared of.
Oh, hates that?
Yeah. So he's going to do, he said he'll do it for, if we get to 1,000 this month, he'll do it, but because you can only run, it only runs until the end of October. But he said that he would extend it basically. So if we hit 1,000, even if it's like November or December, he'll go next year for sure. And then I also said that you were going to do, you're not a heights guy, but you're going to do for 10, when we hit 10,000, you're going to do skydiving, which we'd be able to pay for it and all that stuff. And so the first part of the guy's comment, I really felt for him because he's just like, look, I went through stuff at the workplace and I got bullied, and it was a really rough time for him, and that broke my heart.
Yeah.
But what he said afterwards is like, and you're bullying people into this. I was like, no. He said, that's what you did to Makuga. No, not even close. And I was offended by the comment, not offended by the guy's situation because he had his own situation, and my heart broke for the guy.
Yeah.
But I was like, if I say to you and Winston, listen, you're going to do this, you're not going to benefit from it at all.
Yeah.
I'm not paying you for it. And guess what? If you don't do it, you're never on this channel again. well, then fuck me. I'm a bully.
Yeah.
Then screw you. Now, what I said to both you and Winston was, hey, I got an idea. What would it take? And I said to Winston, and I sent him a text. I said, what would it take if you to go to Halloween Horror Nights? And he goes, I don't know. And I was like, he said, you'd have to pay me significantly more than my average rate. And I was like, of course. I was like, if we hit this, and then he gave me a price. I said, if we hit that, I'll give that to you. And he said, all right, I'll do it. And I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. I said, all right, then here you go. And he plays it up on the thing, and the same thing with you.
Oh, my number went up.
Your number went up, as it should have. Your number went
Like,
up.
what about this? I'm like, get the fuck out.
Yeah. And that's what you should do. Now, again, if I say to you, if you don't do it for this price, if you don't do this, you don't care about the channel. You don't care. If I'm pressuring you, then that's bullying. But people throw words around sometimes, and it's not, and it's because, and again, particular guy's situation, it really it really pained me when I read the guy's situation. It really pained me but when he threw it to you, that's what you did to Makuga. No. Makuga was doing this, and Makuga did the it stuff. He went for a collider. Makuga played off on that stuff as well too. It did legitimately scare the shit out of him too. But he knew he was an entertainer. And he wanted to do that stuff, and he was and Winston said the same thing. He's like, yeah, Makuga was on salary doing this stuff, and Makuga liked to do those bits. So I was when it directed towards me, I was 100% offended by it.
Yeah.
And then Winston and I love Winston's one of my very close friends too. Winston chimed in. He's like, in no world would I be pressured into doing something.
Exactly.
I was asked to do it. So nonetheless, we are doing both. Winston's going to be doing that, and then Brett's going to be doing the 10,000. When we get 10,000, it'll be skydiving. Now, the other thing the guy wrote, he's like, well, you should be doing stuff too, 100%. I said this to my wife the other day.
We'll do a tandem. I'll be on your back.
Well, I mean, I think I would do it though. So it doesn't.
That's how you got to do it. The first.
There's
got to be so many times.
No, I know. You can't do it. You can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
No. But you got a long way to go. We're not even at 400 people.
They can't do
it. You're got a long way to go before.
I dare you.
Yeah, you'll probably be 80 by the time you do it. Be even more so. But nonetheless, I was like, we should do something for me. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, what if I bleach blonde my hair like Ryan Gosling and Barbie, and did like a Barbie and did like the tan for like $1,500, and then she's like, you better not bring that up. And I was like, maybe I would give it like a time period, but I don't know. And I talk to people
she's
about
tough with. She has trouble with the bleach blonde hair. What about a tuft for months?
but that was different though. That was different though, because you weren't going anywhere.
No, I know.
There
was a point where I went to the grocery store and I forgot, and I had a mask on. And it wasn't even styled. It was just this
style.
And I was like, oh.
That is hilarious. And for people who don't know, we did during the pandemic, Brett and I were losing our minds, and for some reason I woke up and I just shaved my head. Like bald.
Yeah.
And Brett walked in, he couldn't believe it, he thought it was hilarious. And then he's like, I'll do it too. And he went home and he shaved his head and he had a little tuft, and that's how like Flirt and Flowers, the pop singer, was born. But anyway, we're gonna come up with some new tiers as well too. But like I said, November we're starting a really big push on the Patreon, and we're gonna be starting a lot of new things. So join up today, man. It's patreon.com/thebigthingshow. It's the first thing that you see, and we're building up to those. If we get to 1,000 by the end of the month, we're gonna do the Winston trip. It'll probably be me, Brett, and Coy going with Winston to Universal. So if you're able to do that and you want to see that video, and they will air here, it would air on this channel, and then all the behind the scenes and all that stuff would go up on Patreon. So all right.
I hate scary shit, by the way.
You do too?
A child's like a grade school haunted house will freak. I just don't like getting jumped out at.
Do you know what happened, why Winston, one of the reasons Winston's so nervous about going?
Somebody grab him once or something?
He went to Knott's Berry Farm, and they grabbed him, and he uppercutted the guy and got kicked out. He's banned. That's what he said. He said, you got to understand, like, I punched somebody last time. And I said, you sure you want to do it? He's like, yeah. I mean, again, I would have done the same thing that both of you guys did. It's like, how much are you going to pay me?
Yeah.
And I said, here you go. And you have, I think, less to worry about for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're not even, like I said, we're not even at 400 yet. Winston's got around 600 to start.
Yeah, that's
getting nervous. But I think by the time we get to I think we'll hit 1,000. I just don't think we'll hit it at the end of this month. And then Winston will be, yeah. So anyway, that's what we got. And then what I try to also do for Brett, depending on what it is, Brett will come over and he'll see things that people send here and stuff, and And he asked for it. And so today I gave him the Loki hat. Look at that.
It's the time thing.
It's the time thing. And Brett actually watched Loki. So
Yeah.
if people are wondering, like,
we didn't know it dropped. We
you didn't even know it dropped?
we went on to
Thanks
watch
for watching the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we watched Sex Ed is our new one we're watching, and we opened it up, and this popped up. I said, let's do some Loki. I was bummed there was only one. I was hoping that I hadn't heard about it for a while.
Oh, yeah. I've seen 4.
They're fast.
They're fast. But here's the thing. So you're tuning into this, and you say, like, no dummies, and it's not too confusing. Well, I don't think it's too confusing. I think it's confusing, but I don't think it's too confusing. The reason I have that in the title is because people have been asking, saying it's confusing. So this is Dark Horizons. It says, between the temporal looms, time slipping, talk of variants, and more, the second season premiere of Loki this week threw a lot of technobabble at viewers. Anytime you throw technobabble in there, you go.
Yeah.
Some may have issues following just what's going on, especially as much of the season's mysteries are slow burn reveals. Don't worry, though. Confusion is part of the intent, according to executive producer Kevin Wright. In a new interview with The Wrap, Kevin Wright says the point is to never share too much with the audience, thus allowing them to work out possibilities of their own and without confusing them with too much detail. Thus, the approach became more about keeping it simple, and more often than not, it was about removing lines than anything else in order to straddle the line between intrigue and confusion. He says, if you explain too much, the audience it feels like they have to carry it. The thing that was always important to us was that we were talking big concepts. We're getting into time loops, and timey-wimey stuff starts happening big time in this, but it was always about how simply, when needed, we can explain that in a line or two of dialogue, the audience goes, okay, that kind of makes sense. I'm going to put that in the back of my brain as it keeps moving on. The episode ended up being full of Marvel Easter eggs, from the temporal loom's door being an obvious homage to X-Men Cerebro, to the inclusion of a podcast audio clip heard in the Moon Knight series, to Silvio's cameo in Broxton, Oklahoma, the same place where Thor created a new Asgard in the comics. All right, so there's a bunch of different things that are obviously going on in the show, and I think it gets more confusing in episode 2. And again, I'm not going to. People got really mad that we were talking about 2, 3, and 4 at all. We didn't even spoil anything in Capes. People are like, don't even bring it up. So that's all I'll say about it. But
Don't even think about it.
There are other things that are confusing, but I think that they're right. I think it plays into a place where it's supposed to be confusing. You're like, wait, what? As long as you get to a place where you're like, oh, as long as you get to that moment, then that's fine. And it allows you to, if it's just confusing, you're like, I don't know what's happening. I think the multiverse in general has gotten a little too confusing, but I don't think for this show, if that makes sense. No,
not at all. And like I think I even said it to you before I even knew that was the topic this morning. I was like, oh yeah, it was me going, oh, I get it.
Right.
But there's points where I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. But it doesn't bother me.
Right.
And I think it makes for a lot of the humor to hit when you kind of don't understand what they're talking about, and neither do Loki kind of doesn't understand really, either. No. So yeah, I'm jealous that you got to see 4.
It's I mean, well, and I'm also jealous in the fact that you get to experience it one week after the next. And I was like, they
could have done 2. Just that first little I'm all about the week to week, but for some reason with the shorter shows, it's tougher. That like an hour show, that's great. Yeah. I can do week to week. That half-hour show that is just like, man, I needed more.
Normally, I agree with you on this, because especially when you're trying to hook people into it, there's like Andor, right? I think Andor did 1 and 2, and I think that was a good move. There's other shows that I think like need 1 and 2 because you're like, I don't know if I'm on board. Oh, okay, I'm on board. This one, I think most people are like, okay, Loki's back. Because again, only thing I'll say about 2, I didn't love 2. Love 3 and 4, but 2, it's like, and so I don't know if I would like left people with that. Let this week they go, and maybe I'm wrong. Winston and I both didn't like it. Maybe people like this one, and it gets to once you get to 3 and 4, it just hits. So I'm okay with them doing it this way. Plus, it's only 6 episodes.
Oh wow, okay, so yeah.
So I think that they want to make sure that you have they're gonna have that 6-week run of
6. That's a one-night binge, even for an old fart like me. I could do that.
Yeah, and I like that they're doing that with this because they're basically telling the story they want to tell, and they're not just adding stuff to add stuff. So
what's ultra confusing is when you start, you go, oh, new season of Loki's out, and you start it, and you get about 10 minutes, and you go, and your wife goes, wait, isn't this the season 1? I'm like, no. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, I've done that before. I don't know which show.
What
but
if it says season 2?
Yeah.
And it's like the big banner one, and you click on that, and it goes to the first season? Then that's on you.
It's true.
Disney Plus.
And the Disney Plus bastards. But I don't know. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about if you think it's too confusing. I can't imagine it that a lot of people do. Or I shouldn't say that. I think people are going to be like, yeah, it's supposed to be confusing.
Yeah.
I think most people are going to think it's supposed to be confusing. But I wonder. So please comment and let me know exactly whether or not you think that is accurate, inaccurate, all that and more. All right, before I move on, because we're going to talk about some other things, I wanted to tell you guys, I've talked about them before. I'm excited to have them back. NUTRAFOL. Here we go. Don't be embarrassed. Don't do it. Listen, did you know that 80% of men will experience hair thinning in their lifetime? It's normal, guys. But it doesn't have to be your fate. You can get ahead of thinning with NUTRAFOL. NUTRAFOL is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement clinically shown to improve your hair growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp coverage. NUTRAFOL's hair growth supplements use physician-formulated, natural, science-backed ingredients. Their drug-free, patented technology provides consistent, reliable results without compromising your sexual health. Go to Nutrafol.com/men to take their hair wealth wellness quiz. Identify causes of your thinning hair, and Nutrafol will give you a personalized plan for better hair health through whole body wellness. It works. In a clinical study, 84% of men showed improvement in their hair after 6 months taking Nutrafol men's hair growth supplements. Everybody feels this way as you're getting older. You're like, oh man, am I the only one? Why is this happening to me? This and that. We're in an age now where you can get it helped. You can get it fixed. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/men, but you have to enter that promo code BIGTHING. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/men. Nutrafol.com/men and enter that code BIGTHING. That's Nutrafol.com/men, promo code BIGTHING. All right, thank you to our friends over at NUTRAFOL. Once again, guys, if you're able to, you have been helping out the show tremendously. I know I get people all the time. There's a reason NUTRAFOL's back. People were clicking on it, they were getting it, and they came back because you guys, it resonated with you guys. So make sure, if you want to support the show, you want to get something for yourselves, consider NUTRAFOL. Brett, I watched this movie over the weekend. It was, I don't know if you've heard about it. It's fairly new. It's called The Lost Boys.
Oh, yeah.
You
It just
heard
came
about it?
out a couple years ago.
1987, I think. Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Patrick,
Oh,
and the late Corey Haim, Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman.
The other guy that plays Corey Feldman's brother. Who is that guy?
Old Chip.
What's his name? His name was like Eddie or something. I
Yeah.
don't remember that guy's name. And then Diane Wiest plays the mom. It's a classic 80s movie.
You got to get it. I want to go to a Corey Feldman concert with you.
I would love to.
I've been watching.
Should we set that as a goal?
Yeah. Oh.
Should we set that as a goal?
Yes.
If we go, no matter where, if he's in Vegas,
Yeah.
you and I
Oh,
will go,
Vegas would be the best.
and we'll record it.
Yeah.
Us going there and see if we can get behind the scenes or something.
That is I mean, have you seen the one where they're like, here comes the comeback game. Here comes the comeback game.
I can do, it's like a car crash.
And then he comes out and they start playing the wrong song and he goes, no. And he's still.
Yeah, we got to go. That would be great.
So he's like, what is he coming back from?
What do we set that as? We'll set that as like 1,500?
Yeah.
That we'll buy wherever it is. We'll try to get behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, backstage.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
we'll try
yeah.
to do whatever we can do, like to make it full video out
Autograph copy of Lost Boys. And,
All right, let's set that. You know what? You guys, see? This is how the magic happens. We're going to set it, and I got to tell PLD, well, at 1,500 patrons, Brett and I will go to a Corey Feldman concert. We'll get the best seats possible. We'll get front row.
Yeah.
We'll get front row.
T-shirts.
We'll record T-shirts. We'll do the whole thing, and we'll put the video up. That's a great idea. I like how this is going. Corey Feldman, God bless you or damn you. I can't tell. I don't know. All right. I'm going to tell PLD that 1,500. He's performing all the time, right?
Oh, yeah. He's all over the place.
So we got to, and you know, maybe what we'll do with that 1,500 to give the audience an opportunity we'll post a poll of we'll put like which show, like whether it's Vegas, LA, whatever, and we'll let the audience decide which one we go to. That's insane.
Because it's gonna be
What a
funny
stupid
for
idea.
5 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna be miserable after it.
Jesus,
You got to
like-
sit through the whole concert. And that's a full video.
Oh, man.
I mean, and that wow. All right. Anyway, Lost Boys. When was the last time you saw it?
God, probably on HBO when I was a kid or
Really?
something.
The last time you saw it?
Yeah, I don't
It's got
think
a
I've
great
seen it.
soundtrack, by the way. HBO Max, or Max, I guess. It's on Max, and I had gotten the Blu-ray. It's so weird how this thing you have the Blu-ray,
Yeah.
and yet all you can do pop it in if you want to watch it. But if it pops up on digital, oh, there's the Lost Boys. So I watched that. I watched Beetlejuice.
Ooh.
Yeah, I watched it. My daughter had never seen it. The others had never seen it because she actually asked. She was like, "Oh, let's watch Beetlejuice." I was like, "You want to watch that?" She loves Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
I was like, "You want to watch that because Jenna Ortega's in the second one?" She's like, "She's in the second one?" I was like, "You just wanted to watch Beetlejuice?" I was like, "That's cool." So we watched Beetlejuice.
Wait, is that they're making a
There's
second?
one, yeah.
Oh,
they already started shooting. I mean, well,
Where have I been?
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? In 2014, I think it was, when we were running schmoesno.com, we actually broke that story, and then then it's just been, development hell for however long. But now there was like photos of Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega like together, and she plays Lydia's daughter, obviously. And yeah, so it's that. But the first one it's just both those movies are so good, and then the other one we went from 80s to 90s, and then we transitioned into a romantic comedy with My Best Friend's Wedding.
Oh, okay.
That one's she's a real asshole in that movie, Julia Roberts. Do you remember the story?
No.
The story is essentially she and Dermot Mulroney, who were like, I guess they dated in college or a little bit afterwards, and she's like now a successful food critic, and she is she's single, whatever it is too, but she's kind of selfish, whatever. And then he tells her he's getting married, and at first she thinks like, at what time we made some agreement that at 30 something that we were going to marry each other, so she thinks that's why he's calling her. And then it turns out he's getting married to Cameron Diaz, and then she goes basically, yeah, and he's like, I want you to be the best man, whatever. And she goes and she's there, and she tries to sabotage it the whole entire time. She tries because she thinks she's in love with him, and if it wasn't the fact that it was Julia Roberts in like the late 90s, and she's charming, and it's Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Hate her.
You'd hate it, and it's very hard to pull off that role. I think it's a testament to how good she is, because like I was just thinking about it this morning. I'm like, any person playing that role, the audience should hate you. Like they should hate you, but they don't all the way through because it's Julia Roberts. And Cameron Diaz was fairly unknownish. I mean, she had done The Mask, I think, in like 94, so she was kind of coming up the scene. It was like 3 years. She was early 20s.
Wow.
But yeah, let's see. So those are the three movies that I had seen. I was watching some news stuff, but I don't know. What about you? Did you watch anything over the weekend?
I didn't do, and Lonnie was out of town. She went to see AWOL Nation concert in like Ventura.
Oh, I saw
stayed
that.
the
She
night with
posted
her
on
friend.
Instagram.
Yeah.
I saw, yeah.
Yeah.
You look forward to nights like that sometimes?
No.
No?
I don't like being alone.
No, ever?
Not really. I feel like this is the thing. She goes to a day job that's like, eight hours, and then her drive is so long that I can't wait for her to get home. But then she gets home and she wants to be alone for a little bit. I'm like, I've been alone all day.
Yeah.
So
I get it. I think that's for me. It's like, I guess because I'm still in the thick of it. I got a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
So like, although my 6-year-old is, so Brett helped again. We'll tell you some fun stuff today. But
I had it made my day.
It's good stuff. So I put us in this mood, I think. But we had this little. My dad got my daughter this car, like one of those zoom around cars, and Brett had put that together. But it's like she's flying off the curb with
so
like
good.
Mario Andretti. Is that still a reference?
Sure.
And
Dick Trickle.
it's sure. And for a 6-year-old reference, it's a good one. Either way, it's like she's loving that stuff. We put that together. She's been riding around the block on that thing and just having a blast with it. But one of the things this morning, by the way, this in my kitchen, this is where we have the
I'm sorry, I can't get
Isn't
off
it?
of
You
that.
should.
No,
No,
you
that's what I'm
should.
talking about.
You see a neighbor kind of smiling at you. Go, hey, you got a regular dick trickle here. That's a real.
Is it a real race car driver?
Yeah, but you go, just see the reaction. Oh, yep, got a regular dick trickle.
Don't listen to him, honey. He took his wife to a sex club.
He hasn't been the same.
He hasn't
since.
been the same since the rhinoceros penis. But we have the washer and the dryer in the kitchen, and the stupid thing handle broke off. So I'm trying to jam the thing back into it, and then eventually it just keeps popping off. And I was like, I can hear it click. And my wife said, just have Brett bring the super glue. I was like, no, I'm gonna figure this out myself. So I look around. I said, anything that can work besides just clicking in. So Brett, what happened?
I came in with the super glue and she goes, yeah, Kristian tried using Elmer's glue on it.
I dumped half the bottle in there. And guess what? For about 36 hours,
It worked.
it worked. And then the glue
That tells me that this will work for a little bit. But I did tell her I don't know what if the fine print on that repair is that things like that usually you got to just find the part.
Yeah. And
I took it down. I'm gonna Google the brand.
Is
and
it
all that.
on there right now?
Yeah, no, I took I
okay.
put it up, but I took a picture. When I took it down, I took down like the model and make of it because usually you just got to buy a handle.
Who needs it? Anyway, all right, let's get back to some stories. So you guys are here for it. All right, Skeleton Crew. This is a series I've been looking forward to, and I'm just so damn curious about it. I know that like Jude Law is a massive name, right? It's someone that you want in your series for sure. But yeah, like the fact, again, it's got to say Star Wars Skeleton Crew, which I believe it's going to. It has to say Star Wars Skeleton Crew. If it's just run on Skeleton Crew, it's like running Bumblebee, and you don't have the Transformers in the name, and you're asking for trouble because Ahsoka is one thing. If nobody knows what the hell this thing is, and this is the actual synopsis now, Dark Horizons, with Ahsoka having wrapped, we still have one last bit of Star Wars to arrive in the next few months, the Skeleton Crew series. Next few months? I thought it was going to be in next year. As previously reported, the series is set during the Mandoverse era and is tonally said to be Amblin-esque and akin to Goonies or Stand By Me, and we also know it's about some kids who become lost in the Star Wars universe. Comparisons have been made to the animated Star Trek Prodigy in the past, which involved a group of young prisoners who stumbled upon a lost experiment Starfleet ship. An official new synopsis for Skeleton Crew has been found in a copyright filing and published via Mando 3 updates, with the details seemingly reinforcing that notion. In the episode of Skeleton Crew, we are introduced to 4 kids who make a mysterious discovery on their seemingly safe home planet and get lost in a strange and dangerous galaxy. Finding their way home, meeting unlikely allies and enemies will be a great adventure than they ever imagined. John Watts directed the pilot episode, and it's got Jude Law, Ryan Kira Armstrong, Robert Timothy Smith, Ravi Kavat-Connors, and Kiriana Crater, to which I pronounced Jude Law correct. However, the big question is whether the series will cross over with the other Mandoverse shows, and if so, will it impact the overall saga leading up to Dave Filoni's team-up movie? Jon Favreau already indicated earlier this year that some of the characters and locations from Skeleton Crew could show up in the 4th season of The Mandalorian, and Skeleton Crew is expected to premiere on Disney Plus either around the year's end or early next year. Okay. So there's a lot here. I thought for some reason that they had already said that Skeleton Crew was getting pushed back, and maybe that was just an unofficial report that people thought because of the strikes and everything that was going to happen. I still would bet. Let's see. Loki is going to be over by the end of October. It seems like maybe pushing into November, but early. So if they're going to do Skeleton Crew, and Skeleton Crew is going to have 8 episodes, we'll say. I mean, that's pushing from December into January, which if they've done before with Mandalorian, it's possible. The only reason I think that is still a good possibility is because you got to get Acolyte out, because I think that's probably going to come out at some point in early 2024, unless they push this to February, March, and then, push Acolyte to later on in the year. So that's part one. Part two, is, once again, I think that they just have to figure out how to market this show, how it's going to tie into all of it. Putting it out at the end of this year is also a good idea, because to try to get out as much as possible, because they're trying to get Dave Filoni's movie out by December of 2026. So you need to put out Skeleton Crew, Mandalorian, and Ahsoka Season 2. So you got to have 3 series come out leading up to the end of December 2026. If they're all going to tie in. Any of this stuff pop out to you?
I just, Down with Love is one of my favorite movies with Jude Law. So I'm excited to see whatever it actually is. But
it continues. This
is continuing. I've heard this was a continuation of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks. I didn't do Ahsoka yet. I don't know what it is. We haven't, other than Mando. Yeah, we haven't really jumped on anything else. I don't know. It's not like a fatigue or anything like that. It's just they're all like, oh yeah, we'll get to those. But
you jumped to Loki, which is interesting. And I put a poll up on the channel, and I put, if you can only choose right now, Star Wars, DC, Marvel, and One Piece, what would you pick?
Marvel.
You picked Marvel.
Yeah,
right?
I think I'm not like a fighting over it kind of, but I think I'm a Marvel fan more so than anything.
It's funny. I thought Marvel would win. Star Wars won. And and out of like 6,000 votes. And people wrote this, and I don't think they're wrong, is that a lot of the audience that found us is because whether it's the old Star Wars show that I did or the one too. So I have a very strong Star Wars fan audience. I'm aware of that, but I also found a lot of people that were brand new to the channel that were also voting on it, and it was amazing. I thought Marvel would have won. I thought Marvel definitely would have won.
I don't know why, but I'm drawn to Marvel shows more so. I don't know. I just like WandaVision, and like I think we've watched all of them except for a couple.
Did you see Secret Invasion?
No. Is that's out now?
Yeah, but apparently it wasn't that good. So you didn't miss anything. She-Hulk?
She-Hulk, I didn't.
Okay,
so I didn't do all of them.
That's probably,
maybe I just like Loki.
Honestly, but that's probably Loki.
Maybe I just
great.
like the Avengers.
Well, Loki's great. Loki's a great show, and I think that. And you mentioned the 2 best shows. WandaVision. There have been other shows. Did you see Falcon and Winter Soldier?
That I didn't. It's weird. Now I'm a liar. I'm a liar.
You're a liar.
What would have been before?
Before
WandaVision, that would have.
WandaVision was the first one.
Okay,
that was the first TV show. It was WandaVision. It was Falcon. Did you see Hawkeye?
No.
Okay. So
maybe I just have certain.
No, you did no. What you did was this. It's like if a restaurant puts out 2 great dishes, and they gave you both great dishes, but the rest of the dishes have either been subpar or garbage, but you haven't had any of them.
Yeah,
you're just rating them off the 2 great dishes. Yeah. Because
I think I only watched Mando. And nothing really. I started by myself. I started
Andor?
The Obi-Wan.
Oh, okay.
I started that by myself.
You should watch Andor.
Yeah, I've heard that. I think it's just a matter of I just let her run the ship.
Well, that's another thing that we're going to be doing too. Again, just to throw it back to the new plan that we have with Patreon, is we're going to do a lot more. As you guys have been seeing, I actually did a reaction to Loki. I did a reaction to One Piece. I did a reaction to Ahsoka, a few episodes. We're going to start doing like actual more watch-alongs, like more rewatches. And like he hasn't seen a ton of stuff. So we'll do like first-time watches with him, and then like the full footage will go up on Patreon, but we'll put all the video up here for people who aren't able to do it. Like the cut-down pieces, the way that we have been doing it with the actual footage in there and stuff. So I think that maybe something like an Andor would be interesting too. Like, watching Andor with you.
I'd be down for that. And then I'd like an excuse to watch these. I don't know what it is. I honestly, it's like I feel like I'm an imposter sitting here. But
no, people know who you are.
They know it. Yeah. I have like a Instagram reel addiction, I think. Like I'll sit there. They call it doom scrolling. I'll sit there and I got a television right there and I've always talked about like you damn kids don't watch long form entertainment. And now I'm sitting there.
How
just
much of it is informational, percentage wise? How much is it informational? How much of it is just like
twerking videos?
I was gonna say filth. How much filth do you think?
It's a good mix of filth. I think I have an eclectic.
So fast to answer.
I think I've got DIY stuff I love.
What's that?
Like do it yourself. Yeah. Like I love watching like or life hacks.
Right.
You know, which I pinch.
Any of that have super glue into
no, Elmer's.
Oh,
Elmer's, which barely holds wood together. Right, no, that's the only place you should use it for children's crafts and wood.
Okay. DIY
stuff. I like cooking. I love to see those kind of. Wait a
minute. You like cooking stuff?
Yeah.
If you guys really like cooking stuff, let me tell you about Green Chef. A little bit about Green Chef. Listen, we'll get back into your stuff because if you haven't done Green Chef, you should. Green Chef, baby. I mean, we both. You both. Do you when you're doing the cooking? By the way, do you do the Green Chef? I mean,
the Green Chef has turned my wife into a cook, which when I met her, she couldn't boil water.
Well, they are the #1 meal kit for eating clean, and you can feel your best during the fall season with delicious, nutritional, approved recipes featuring clean ingredients and no artificial colors. I love them so much. If you want to build healthier eating habits, they can help you out. It's so good. They are the #1 meal kit for eating clean. They got dinners that work for you. It's not the other way around, and you can feel your best with approved recipes, including calorie smart meals under 650 calories. They got protein packed meals. They send stuff to me, Brett. The stuff that they send, like this chicken, we made a whole bunch. I can't even tell you today. I made a whole bunch. I threw it on the grill.
Yeah,
some of this organic chicken that they had, and I made this burrito out of it with the stuff that they send. And oh my god, it's like the most fresh ingredients. And I'm not BSing you guys. It is. My wife the other day, she's like, do you want to cook? And I said, yeah. Let's do it. And I was like, and I can talk about it on the air next week. And they send it to you. They send all this different stuff. And every single time, I think you and I said this, it feels like Christmas when it shows up.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. And you guys, go ahead, Brett.
And the best thing for me is I'm not adventurous with food. I'm into like, I like this. I like this. I'm not as bad as my kids.
Yeah.
But this has actually gotten my wife, and my kids trying new stuff, and I'm blown away by like dishes that because you'd never go out and go like, hey, let's make Mediterranean, whatever tonight, and
but
now
then you try and they make it easy.
Yeah, and it's good.
Really easy. It's really, really good. It's really delicious, and I'm telling you guys should check it out. You'll love it. They deliver everything you need to eat clean and do it this October. Feel your best with nutritionist approved recipes packed with clean ingredients to support your healthy lifestyle, and it tastes great too. Check cleaning, eating off your to-do list this jam-packed fall with new quick and easy recipes, easy in 25 minutes or less. Now, what I want you to do is go to greenchef.com/60thing and use that code 60thing to get 60% off plus free shipping. Did you hear that? You go to greenchef.com/60thing and use that code 60thing. 60% off? I mean, that's
insane.
Dude, 60% off.
And it's a great way. I mean, you can't. Again, I'm not trying to say you can't not try that.
Yeah,
at least
60% off.
Yeah, 60% off for food.
I'll be honest. When I was reading through it, I wrote to the advertisers who sent the thing.
Yeah.
And I said, I think the code's wrong. It says 60% off. And
yeah,
said,
usually it's like 20 or so. Yeah, no,
60% off. Anyway, so go ahead and check that out. Once again, you help the show out, but I'm helping you out on this one. I promise you. So make sure you go get Green Chef. Come back to me and say you're right. But you do these videos.
Yeah, I do those videos. And then if I like something, I'll put it in Pinterest and then I'll just tuck it away and never look at it again.
That's what you were saying last week.
Never look at it again.
So but you could be watching other things. But look, I have the same thing. There's so many different current movies and current TV shows that I could be watching. Even things from like 4 or 5 years ago. I got a DM a little recently going, you should check out Punisher, man. It's an awesome series on Netflix. I love John Bernthal.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see that series. And I have got to the place where I'm like, all right, I'm going to push play. And I started for a second. And then I watched Lost Boys.
Yeah.
And then I watch, Beetlejuice. And I watch these movies. There's just something about the 80s movies that I got to go back to and watch. But so I get where you're coming from.
It's weird. It's a weird thing. And I get I get mad at myself about it, and I go, God, this is probably what my kids are doing. They're just fast content, and I've been actively trying to get them out into the living room and trying to watch something. Soon they will.
I've got tons. I mean, but I'll tell you, it's funny you say that, because that's why we have also made a push on this show to do a lot of short form stuff also, because it's just the way it works. It's like you can't just rely on the long form stuff. There are people who listen to this podcast. I was blown away by it. I did another poll the other day about people how many episodes they watch, or a lot of people who watch like between 3 to 5 a week, or listen to 3 to 5 a week. But people are like, yeah, I listen to it in the morning, and whether I'm going to work, and I was like, it really does. And I know it sounds cliche sometimes, but it really does. Like, this, out of all the stuff that people have to listen to, like, it does make you go, we're doing something right.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, the fact that people would want to, we're making them laugh, and I mean, today is you're gonna get the perfect example of that.
Exactly.
Like, don't take your kids to school with this episode.
No.
I'll tell you that. Like, I'm warning them 45 minutes into the episode. But
I do the short form content that I do go for. The long form is the stuff like that you put out. I will go to. I'll watch comedian specials because I saw a few clips. If they hit me a few times, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll check that out. So that's one that it does draw me to other things. But yeah, I gotta straighten myself out, and not do it too much. There's a fine line. It's fun.
I gotta tell you though, because do you remember Rick Ingram, right?
Yeah.
Rick Ingram is a very close friend of mine, and I think one of the most underrated comedians, maybe all time. He is absolutely hilarious. So Rick and I became Comedy Store regulars together around. Like, he was actually working there. He came a little bit after me, but not much. But he became like he was a big store guy for a long time. But what he did, I remember when we first started together, he was doing material, and he'll tell you his material. He felt like he was kind of going through the motions, but he's so damn good at crowd work, and he made a career out of just crowd work.
Yeah.
And time, okay, it's there's no one better than him at it. There's no one better. What I have seen recently, and I'm sure you have seen it too, on Instagram, there's a lot of comedians that post like their crowd work, and so this is from Rick Ingram. As a crowd work comedian, I want to live in a world where it's trendy for comedians to post videos of themselves doing an unimpressive prop comedy. It will be as good as your bullshit crowd work clips.
Yeah, because there's some of them where it's like, comedian totally destroy, and you're like, no, you didn't destroy them.
There's one, I'm not going to call the person out, but there's one guy, I guess he's been blowing up, and he's a crowd work, and I don't know what it is. He might be the nicest guy. His voice drives me nuts. I don't know what it is. I don't know. He might be the nicest person in the world, but I see him doing, and it's like this thing. We're all guilty of it. I've done it. You've done it. Comedians sometimes, when they're on stage, feel like yelling will get them out of trouble.
Oh yeah.
And this particular guy just yells, and it's like, and it's not that his stuff wasn't funny that he was saying, but it's just like, just yelling. It's like 9 a.m. and I'm scrolling. I don't need yelling.
That's what takes me out of. I really enjoy. I think you should leave now. But then if if I binge
Which one is that?
That's I never remember the guy's name. It's a sketch show. He used to.
Oh yeah. You told me
with
about it.
Tim Robinson.
Okay.
And I'm crying laughing sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, oh, if you just took it down a few notches and weren't yelling in this one.
Right.
It's a lot. If you binge watch it, you'll be like fatigued with yelling.
It's a crutch. I mean, it happened. I mean, like I said, I was definitely guilty of it, especially when I was starting from, it was my friend Paul D'Angelo who was just like, calm the fuck down. Like I would rely on it because if I was in a place and I could do something, I'd crowd work, and I would get that kind of cheap laugh from it.
Yeah.
But I relied on it a lot. And then, and to be fair, the particular comedian I'm talking about is a younger comedian, so that
So fuck him.
or he might learn down the line. I don't know. But I think it is also that kind of point that Rick's making too, when it comes to, if you get a lot of clicks, you got a lot of, you might think that, oh, it's working for me.
Yeah.
And so maybe it is. I don't freaking know.
I love that Opie stuff. I constantly see him pop up.
Opie's the dude.
He's gonna be huge.
Opie's the dude. I love Opie. All right, let's go to another story here. All right, speaking of Marvel and TV shows, and speaking of WandaVision, Brett.
There it is.
Not only Agatha, but Ironheart and Agatha have new release windows. Now, this was something we talked about on Capes and Cows. We weren't sure when that was going to happen. Now, there's no mention, by the way, of Echo, but let's see. With the second season of Loki now underway on Disney Plus, there are obvious questions as to when the next Marvel series will be hitting the streamer. Echo, there we go, expected to be the next live-action Marvel series to arrive in January 2024. After that, though, Agatha, Darkhold Diaries, and Ironheart managed to finish their shoots by May this year and November last year. Daredevil Born Again, however, had to halt its production due to the actors' strike. It was to film throughout this year, but it's now certain that series filming will spill over into a chunk of next year as well. At last report, Agatha was set for a late 2024 bout, while Ironheart was pulled from the schedule altogether. Now the direct report is a series of recent filings with the U.S. Copyright Office. It looks as though both Ironheart and Daredevil Born Again are looking for 2025 debuts. Each of the listing include a project date of publication. Reportedly have Echo coming on January 10th, 2024, Agatha, Darkhold Diaries on September 19th, Daredevil in January 2025, and Ironheart in September of 2025. These dates are likely subject to change, especially when the release landscape becomes clearer once the actor strike is over and production on the shows can resume at full speed. So there's a lot here because Echo was rumored to... So Echo was a character in the Hawkeye series.
I know. I saw it.
No, you didn't. But I didn't, and I think a lot of people don't really understand why that character necessarily got a spin-off series or other series that probably... It doesn't seem to have been a very highly anticipated series. I think it's a gamble. I think at this point they've shot it already, so you got to put it out. I don't know how good it's going to do, and I hope that I am wrong. But I don't think it will. I think it's. I
mean, of all, if we going back to things that I've missed, even in the Star Wars or the Marvel, the stuff I've missed, I've known the characers. You know,
well, that's Hawkeye, right?
Yeah.
Like if you missed if a casual viewer missed Hawkeye, if you weren't on this show, you would know what the hell Echo was.
No
so
Echo.
I think that's going to be a tough one. Ironheart they were banking off of the Black Panther 2 success, and it very well might still carry that over. I'm not sure. I think that they were trying to sell that show prematurely in the movie, and they should have waited to greenlight that until after the movie to see how the character responded with people. Maybe it responded better than I thought it did, but we'll see. That one's got a better shot than I think like Echo does. I think that I understand, and you got Ryan Coogler in it, so I get that show.
Isn't Ironheart? Wasn't that a Val Kilmer movie?
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thunderheart.
Yeah. Something Heart.
Something like that. Something Heart.
Let me just take it off the
Heart. It's just called Heart. But
let me just the things that should stay in my brain. Let's just say them out loud, just to throw stuff off track. Now you're like, what was I talking about?
Who knows? Doesn't matter. The shows themselves. There's also the Bob Chapek of it all. Bob Chapek, who was running Disney before Iger came back, kind of messed things up. So I think he greenlit a lot of stuff that maybe you piece them out the way you do it. I think putting 2 out a year is a lot smarter than putting 3 or 4 in the same year. Plus, that also shows if January of 2023 or 2024 rather is Echo, well then Skeleton Crew has a decent shot of coming out at the end of this year, because they don't want to trample over and have a Marvel show and a Star Wars show at the same time. They did that with, I think it was it Andor and She-Hulk, I think, at the same time, which was a mistake. So I wonder how they're going to make that work. I don't know. Not sure. Anyway, very curious to hear what you guys think as far as how this is planning to come out. Are you surprised that they're all still coming out? Do you think it's a good move that they're actually putting them out at the time that they say that they're going to put them out? What say you guys? All right, Brett, not too much to talk about today, although by the time maybe we release this, there's some more news. But this was from October 6th, and this was that studios expect the SAG-AFTRA talks to ramp up and dig deeper beginning today.
Hey,
Monday. After a slow but steady restart of talks of a new contract, negotiations between SAG and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, AMTM, QRSWXYV, have expected to ramp up and explore deeper issues and sticking points in the bargaining agreement. 3 insiders with knowledge of the studio's side of negotiations told the Wrap. According to the insiders, the first 2 days of resumed negotiations this past Monday and Wednesday were largely focused on the CEOs who led negotiations with the WGA, Bob Iger, David Zaslav, Donna Langley, and Ted Sarandos, getting up to speed with the leaders of the Actors Guild Negotiation Committee. while the CEOs have been briefed by their labor teams and the AMPTT, get a new name. President Carol Lombardini Monday marked the first face-to-face discussions between them and SAG President Fran Drescher and Chief Negotiator Duncan Crabtree Ireland on the contract. SAG's Chief Contracts Officer Ray Rodriguez and Negotiating Committee Vice Chairs were also at the talks with the CEOs. All right, the contracts are it's happening. They're continuing to go into more of a conversation, and I feel like it's going to be over this.
Yeah, no, the wheels are in motion.
It seems like it. It seems like heavy ramping up to begin today. I think it's just like, all right, let's just get it done. They're in the mode where it's not one of these things where just like, all right, we got to try to. It's going to come out of it. This is the meeting to say, all right, what do we need to do to sign this deal? Like, what do we need to do? And then it goes back into play. I would say let's make a guess. I say the news comes out. They've come to a deal on Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah, what do you say?
I'm going to say...
Now, they've been negotiating already, so they just said it's ramping up today.
I'm going to say, like, you always put news like that out right before the weekend. I'm going to say Friday.
So? Okay,
yeah.
So then if that's... All right, let's say either Wednesday or Friday, if either one of us are right, and then they start to put it into play, have the lawyers look at it. What do you think? When's everybody back to work? Do you think within the next week or two, or do you think November 1st?
I'm not sure how contracts, like, you know, if it's news of like they've come to an agreement but nothing has been signed, or like that world is confusing to me. So I don't know. I would say, you know, if it's going down, that we'd get people out there working as quick as possible. But I don't know how long.
Got to ratify it, and I think that's what happened with like WGA, right? So they came to terms, they shook on it, and they said, all right, we just got to ratify the thing. And then I think within like a week and a half, people were going back. And I think even less than that with some of the talk shows. So if we're at October 9th, I mean, look, it's possible that people could, if they get it done this week, it's possible that next week start. But I think the business really starts to pick back up by November 1st.
I'll get my acting shoes ready.
Get them ready.
The AM PM. What was the AM PM thinking though? Like.
About what?
Did they think that the people were going to give up, or like? I mean,
yes, they did. Of course, they did.
That blows my mind.
Of course, they did.
They thought that people who will forsake anything
right.
for a career in something that very few people get to be in would give up.
I think what they were banking on is exactly how the misconception of what this thing is to the public, meaning the public that doesn't really know the inner workings and just go, what do actors need more
Brad
money
Pitt
for?
Need more money.
What do writers need more money for? And they don't understand the people that you're talking about, right? That are just sort of job to job, trying to find the gig, barely getting health insurance. Those people, right? I think the studios were banking on the people who make the cushy living and that are consistently getting jobs to go, hey, I can't have this disrupted. And then like, who cares about the ones who do it all the time? Because they're not the ones that are going to be put, because the Jennifer Anistons of the world and those people are not going to want their money, money that they're making. But all of them, because they've all been there before. Yeah. And they actually went back to that.
They remembered
they remembered
struggle.
That's what the studios were banking on for them not to remember that. And they did. And that's why when you saw these people on the picket lines doing all these different things for people who had, big name actors doing this, it wasn't, some of it was PR, but it was also because they'd been there before.
My favorite was Harlan Williams. Do you ever watch any of his stuff?
I know who he is, yeah.
He's like, hey, SAG strong, and WGA. And he goes, I go to the picket line, and I see a guy, and he's got something written on his sign, and he goes, oh yeah, that's nice. Did you write that? And he goes, yeah, I did. He goes, fucking scab.
It's pretty funny.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Fucking scab.
That's good. Anyway, so very curious what you guys think. Put your opinion there. Let me know. Do you think that it's going to be over this week? Do you think we're going to still? Is it going to be something happen? Is it going to be a snag in the negotiations, or are we going to make this thing Dunsky? Let me know. Want to get your thoughts. Once again, just a reminder. So here's where we are with Patreon at the moment. At 1,000 by this month, Winston will go to Hollywood Horror Nights, or what's it called? It's Halloween Horror Nights.
One of those. Or not
Universal.
Scary Farm?
No. It's Universal Halloween Horror Nights, and it'll be the end of this month. If not, he'll go in 2024. But once we hit to 1,000, at 10,000, Brett's going to be jumping out of a plane. We're going to put the whole video over here, which will be crazy. At I guess we'll at 1,500. Brett and I will be going to the Corey Feldman concert.
Yeah.
At your choosing out of the polls that we put for which concert. Look, we'll get front row seats. We'll fly out there. We'll do the whole thing. That's a crazy one.
That's great.
It's a crazy one. 1,500. So, and the link is in the description for that. If you're able to, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found, hit that button, man. We're almost at 100,000. Thanks for joining us today. Check out Brett on Above Board TV on the YouTubes. And for me, you know where to find me. We'll be back with the UAP Tuesday tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Bye.